Hello, I'm John Zidar. This is the live streaming event every Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for On Top and Hot. As you can see, I'm alone. I don't have anybody with me. Now, we knew Taylor wasn't going to be here. She gave us fair warning weeks in advance. And it's not that nobody in my group wanted to be here. I'm from the Penny Boys Discord group. We got lots of people. Problem was, this event coincided with our quarterly meeting, which I should be at too, but we got this. So we had a conflict of meetings and nobody can not be there. So you just got me, folks. I'm doing the DD, I'm doing the charting. I may bumble around a little bit here, but I want to work with you. I've got two computers here, one that I can share all my information with you on, the other one so I can make sure you see what I'm showing you. I got no one to cover me there, and so I can see your comments. So I see we have a bunch of people here already. I got two different mouses I got to work with. Make sure I'm grabbing the right mouse. We got our usual early birds here, Underdog and Kishera. They brought their tickers, DXF, and Stall from Kishera. We got both of those. We have Cholo. Hello, Cholo. Glad you're here. You brought us a slew of stocks. Now, I normally have a rule. We'll look at one. If we have time, we'll look at the other one that you brought. You brought three of them. VIZC. I did see somebody else wanted to see that one, so we got that one up. IMTL. There weren't a lot of tickers on my board when you were writing it, so I do have that one up. QEDN. I think I've covered it. I'm vaguely familiar with this company. If we have time, we might get to that one. I would like to cover it. Velmore, we did get your TDRK in there. Hello, Brian. We got two Brians, one with the Y, one with an IA. Glad to see both of you. These other tickers after there, NICH, SBFM, I don't know if we'll get to you folks. We would do our best. Hello, Jerome. Jerome, man, can't you drop those tickers in earlier, dude? Really, I put up a placeholder at noon. When you're taking your lunch break or something, just open up the app and drop that ticker in. We'll get you first in line, guy. I hate skipping my regulars who show up here. But you do want to see VIZC too. Good. Glad to hear that. All right. Oh, we got Roy L. Fuchs. You didn't get me there. Glad to see you, Roy. All right, folks, I've got everything lined up here, and I'm going to have to dedicate over to this computer for you, that computer for me, and initially we're going into that tunnel vision. So close your eyes. I've given you fair warning here. Yeah, I'm running. There we go. All right, first one up. This came in. Let me go up to my other computer. This is Underdog, DXF. DXF, Dunkson Financial Holdings, finished today at 47.5 cents roughly. She was up at the end of the day at about 30.5%, and she is on the major exchange. You got to love these penny stocks on the major exchanges, folks. There's no transaction fees, right? There's more volume. There's more money on the major exchange. You get to trade it pre-market, after-market. Lots of big bounces in those periods. And let's face it, it's just a lot safer up there. There's a lot less bull to deal with on the major exchange than the OTC. So let's just dive into this from one side to the other. I've already done a little bit of looking on this one, so I have some insight to what's going on because there were questions. First off, look at that volume increase. Holy cannoli, we're jumping from 225,000 shares a day, an average for the last 30 days. Today, she does almost 51 million shares. What is that? 4 times 50. That's over 200 times her normal volume. That's incredible. So, of course, you got to be expecting a hot catalyst. Share structure, not bad. Outstanding share count is only 21 million. I don't have a clue what the float is, but it's never higher than the outstanding share count. And that's not a bad float if that's what it is. It could be a lot less. All right, something's wrong here. Come on now. Look at that market cap. $16,000. No, they don't tell us to add 3 zeros here, not on this one. That's wrong. Now, the date doesn't look outdated to me, but how do I know it's wrong? Because if this number is right, you take the outstanding share count and you multiply it times the price. Those two numbers multiplied together gives you the market cap. Well, if that was the case, we would be closer to 10.5 million as our market cap. So this ain't right unless there's something I don't know about. If there was a reverse split, let me see down here. No, or something. If the share count fell dramatically, that's why you'd have a small market cap. But as it stands, that's got to be about 10.5 million. Take a look at the financials. We got nothing annually. We got nothing quarterly. We got no money coming in on this major exchange stock. Looking at the balance sheet, they got a little money in the bank, under 50,000. We know that's thousands, thank God, because we got to add 3 zeros to any of the numbers on these charts. Total assets, that's not bad. We're at about 86 million. Liabilities is less. That's a good thing too. So we've got positive stockholder equity. We are not carrying a bag. No deficit for the stockholders here. The stockholders literally have $33 million to divide up amongst those 21 million shares. Now let's see what we got for disclosures. We've got some 6Ks. We got one over a month ago. Just poking my head in. Rights of transfer, something to do with some land transfer here. I don't know. I'm not going to dive into it. Everything else is older. We do have an SC13G. Always good news. Every time you see one. These are new investors that are new owners. They buy so many shares. They got 104 million that they actually own a percentage of the company. They now own 10% of this company. That's always a good thing. News. I don't think there was any news here. Dun, 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 dun. See, we got nothing. So now the question becomes, why did the volume jump so bloody high today from 225,000 to 50? Well, I'll tell you something. I do a lot of work pre-market. I post a lot of stuff on Twitter and my Discord group and a couple Facebook pages about pre-market runners. I'm looking for every penny stock I can find that's running for whatever reason, in the news, in a filing, in an article, whatever I can find. Well, what I noticed today were a lot of Chinese stocks were running early. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on over there. I have no clue, but the Chinese stocks were hot this morning. So this was rising because the waters were rising. All ships on the water, big and small, rise with the rising tides. And that's the only thing I can think of. So let us go take a look at the chart now for DXF. Ooh, look at that. It's set up for me already. How sweet is that? All right, what I like to do is keep a 4-hour chart opened up over here, so I don't forget my perspective. When you come down to the 5-minute, if you have supports and resistance drawn in from historical points way back here, they're just kind of out of perspective. So I just keep that open, so I always have it. So that is actually a 30-minute view. I normally start with a semi-long view. I am a day trader. I'm more concerned about what's happening. But following a car right behind the bumper through a city, you have no idea what direction they're going. You need to look at the overall time period to see what direction they're traveling. So it's always nice. Whoa, we had a sweet jump today, didn't we? Look at that bounce. So we've got a low here of 12 cents. This came in July of last year. And right behind that low, we had our high of $2.05. And I have no idea what caused that jump. I don't see a bubble down here saying reverse split, but it could be, but I don't know for fact. Off of that high bubble, she came down through that 200 and crashed. She had a nice bounce here. I mean, that's a pretty strong jump going from 35 cents up to $1.08. That's a 300% rip. But now she's laying underneath the 200 all this time. She should be on top of it now. When the 200 gets that close, you should make a breakout. And when it's flat, you should be climbing. She isn't. So that's a bit concerning with this stock. Now, did we miss out on the fact? I think we did. Let me jump back here. We didn't talk about what this company does. The company works in microfinance lending business in the People's Republic of China. And that's a big deal to know. I mean, it is a factor to consider. As I said, it's a Chinese company. And most don't know it, but it's like America. Small businesses support the nation. More revenues go to the small ma and pa businesses than you think. They support with the supply and the distribution structure a lot better than these big organizations do. And that's what this company does. They lend money to all of these small businesses around China. Jumping back into that chart now. All right, so it was just these last 2 days. We had a hint of something going on 4 days ago. She did jump from 32 cents up to 50 cents. We had almost 100% jump. And then yesterday she started to take off. She went from that 35 cents up to $1.85. You're looking at about 600% rip and then all the way back down. Now she is on top of her 20. That's a good landing, but I'm always concerned about her coming below the 50% mark, but she's probably pretty much done her worst deed. What I mean is, let me zoom in on that. When I grab my Fibonacci, I always poke the bottom of a surge and go to the top of the surge. Did I get it? No, that's not my fib. That's my fib. Poke the bottom of the surge and then the top of the surge, and I look for the halfway mark. And that's the one I'm truly concerned with, but I can see we've already broke through that. So I've marked that. I'm going to get rid of this Fibonacci so you can see what I'm talking about. That is halfway up and halfway down. Perfect center point. When it goes up, I expect it to come down. Sure do. Halfway. I'm expecting that. So you should be selling up here. As soon as you see it start falling, man, take your gains because she's probably going to lose about half if she's having a good day. She hits that halfway point and stops, stays anywhere above it, chances are she's going to continue on. If she comes underneath it, chances are she's going to continue falling to the next strongest SMA, which is not your 9-day. It will go right through the 9-day and fall, normally through the 20. Think of these as pieces of wood. This would be a cracker, your 9-day. Your 20-day would be balsa wood, pretty easy to break. Your 50-day would be plywood. Oh, that's getting stronger, but it's not that thick. And your 200, that would be a 2x4. So a strong SMA would be a 50. And that's what it looks like we've bounced on right here, folks. She is bouncing on that 50. All of our oscillators are very cold right now. Taking a look at that 5-minute. Well, does she look like she's going to come back? I think she's done what she's going to do, reading charts over and over again. We had a pop here. She got flat. We had some heat up pre-market. You can see this is where the gains were to be taken, folks. Pre-market. I am telling you, with these major exchange stocks, some of the biggest gains are pre-market, aftermarket. Most of them pre-market. And this one started, what time was it? Was it real early? That's about 7 in the morning. And by 7:25, she had already gone off of her 200 at 42 cents up to $1.60. You're looking at almost a 400% run there in 30 minutes. I mean, that could have been your day's trade, and you could have just gone off and done whatever you wanted the rest of the day. She came back down. You had another chance to get in here, and she popped up there to $1.87 and then started to fall. As soon as the bell rang, you had yourself a bull trap there. Looked like she was going to start running again and tricked everybody, didn't she? Came down and fell through everything right back to her 200, which is where she's been laying for the longest time. On it or under it, which is where she's at right now. Why she run? Who knows? Chinese stocks were ripping early this morning. So she hasn't got any catalysts of her own. So whatever earthquake hit China, and I say that in a good way, it's got to hit again, or the tsunami isn't going to hit this stock. So I don't know that this company is going to continue running, and it doesn't look like it has a bounce set up. And setting up points of resistance, I don't see the point if I don't think it's going to climb. All right, let's jump back to our information here. Let's see. Oh, I didn't mean to do that to you. My bad. Accidents happen. Kishera. Hello, Kishera. I am so glad to see you every day here. Kishera follows me on Twitter. She likes a lot of my stuff, and I appreciate you. I really do. So she wants me to look at stall. Now, I've looked at stall a lot. I don't remember if we've ever actually covered it. Seems to me I may have. Star Alliance. Yes, I think I did do one, particularly just on Star Alliance International, ticker STAL. Finished today at 0031, down a little bit, about 6%. She's current. She's on the bottom tier of the OTC, the pinks. Always beware, folks. Beware of the pinks. I've lost more money on pinks than any other tier because I believe what they tell me in news presses, and then most deals are broke later. They don't follow through with them. It's horrible. We've got one good piece of information here that's validated, transfer agent. That's the only validated information you get outside of the other one, verified profile. Pinks don't come with validated information. That's what makes them risky. Every news press, every financial, that's just information the management is passing off to you. And because we're on the OTC, the decentralized organization, unlike the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, which are centralized, you got one group of people watching everybody. Down here, you've got 250 different organizations, and no one person is watching them all. So it's a little hokey pokey down here. So what is Star Alliance about? Star Alliance International is a global holdings company, so they hold assets of other companies with strong assets in the U.S., Honduras, and Guatemala. They own a lot of mining properties, gold mines, lithium mines, silver mines, eco-friendly. Yeah, I marked this because they've got a product called Genesis that they invented. I do believe they have a patent on it. And it's supposed to be some sort of shaker quaker thing that separates gold from other minerals a lot faster, quicker, easier, and efficiently, so that all these mining companies can get more gold from what they're pulling out of the ground. And they actually hired a group, from what I remember, to go around trying to sell that Genesis. Then this is something I'm interested in, but I never see any more information about it. They've got this strange product called Barotex Technology. Check this out. Barotex is our fibers manufactured from volcanic rock. You know, that rock that floats in the water? That's what we're talking about, that hard stuff that is incredibly light, stronger than steel, wood, carbon fiber, fiberglass, aluminum, even Kevlar, the bulletproof stuff that police use, and it is biodegradable. Really? The product can be used in many everyday applications. That sounds wild to me, but I don't see a lot of information. I keep looking for some new products or new contracts that they've got. I never find anything on it. So let's see what we can learn about this company. What do I got up here? We got news and we got news. So let's start with the general information first. Volume, they did about what they normally do, 9.5 million. Nothing really special happening there. Share structure, we got a little over 500 million shares. That is between the insiders and what's on the open market. Insiders have about 165 million. We get all the rest, 373 million. Market cap for this company, 1.7 million. Financials for Stahl, I don't think they're making any money. Nothing annually, nothing quarterly. Money in the bank, I don't know how they're paying anybody. They got $13,000 in the bank. Total assets, little over $1 million. Total liabilities, little over $2 million. So we're holding some deficit here. Not the company, us, the stockholders. We are holding 1.3 million. Now, how do you divide a negative number into the shareholders' share stock, outstanding stock, and come up with a positive number? That's why the stock price is so low. Let's see what we have for disclosures. You've got your most recent 10Q over here. I do believe I jumped into it just to see if there was anything new. And what I like to do when I just don't have a lot of time is scroll all the way down to the bottom and see if they put something under subsequent events. It's kind of a cheater's way to get a peekaboo on something. Things that have happened after the financials were filed, but before they release it, a lot of times they'll put news in there. I didn't see anything. I think what I did see was a statement that they were going to withdraw putting some more shares on the market, not common shares like we trade, the new Series D. They changed their mind and they weren't going to do that, for whatever that's worth to you. So that 10Q, it's the best place to get your information if you want to do some research on the company. So what did I pull up on this company? Right, they do have a lot of news here, folks. Just headlining this real quick. I am back to November. The company pays over $95,000 to clear outstanding convertible debt. Hey, that's a good thing. They cleared their debt. We like that. Signed a major memorandum of understanding. I got to presume that is with Knightbridge. That was just a couple weeks later that they signed a definitive agreement. I haven't looked into both of them, but that's my presumption. Knightbridge, from what I gather, is a company that was going to help them find assets, make deals to get their company out there and make it, help it grow. The company in December signs a multi-million-dollar funding term sheet. Funding is always good, a supply of money to keep you going. Then in February, the company updates on the launch of its gold-linked digital asset, which is their most current piece of news, which came out today. And I did pull this up. Now, I was trying to see what it's worth. That's the first thing you want to know. They didn't give us any hard facts like that. The stuff they do tell us, the company is launching Star AU, which is its elemental symbol, AU for gold. Star AU, a gold-linked digital asset. Now, they're not going to be the first one. There's a lot of digital assets out there being hooked to gold here recently. Star AU represents a digital asset firmly anchored to the enduring value of gold. It's crucial to note that the pre-sale of Star AU is not universally available for public sale in many countries. Instead, it is exclusively offered through private sale for approved or accredited investors depending on geographical locations. So first, you got to live in the right areas. I don't know where that's at. Second of all, you have to be approved or accredited. That normally means you've got $200,000 or more that you're willing to invest in the company and spend. By affording investors exposure to a gold-backed digital asset, Star Alliance taps into the burgeoning demand for alternative investment avenues that offer stability, liquidity, and value preservation in the face of economic uncertainties. With the anticipated closing of our new financing and acquisitions that will follow, Star is positioned for growth. So I'm reading here that they're getting millions of dollars of financing. That's going to help them keep moving forward. But they're talking about some more acquisitions, not Knightbridge. Right here is Knightbridge. They're already with them. And this is where I learned what they do. They help the company to grow. They get the company out there. So that is what is going on with Star. I don't know how I feel about it. There's not enough information there. Anything backed by gold could be hot, but until you know what its real value is and stuff like that, it's tough to say. But I haven't looked at the chart, and that's got something to say about it too. The chart definitely comes into play. If you watch my videos, you know the first thing that matters to me is the chart. You could show me a really, really hot piece of news, and I'm going to go see the chart. And if the chart doesn't look good to me, I may just say, I'll put it on my watch list just because. But I really don't think it's going to do anything. To me, the chart is the fire. That's the campfire. The news is just lumber we're throwing on the fire. If you have a campfire that's not burning and you throw a big old log on it, that ain't going to make it burn in most cases, unless there's some little embers in there or something. So I like to look at the charts first. Then I go looking for a catalyst. In this case, it works just as well. All right, that's not it. We are looking at stall. Let's get stall up there. I thought I typed it. Well, you can see I've looked at this before a few times. So let's remove some of these lines. We'll keep these resistances and supports. They're strong. This tells me when I was here last. What I mean is the last time we looked at it publicly. We looked at this. It appears to be on October 4th of last year, somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 0022. And she had a high 6 months ago of 0.22. So we looked at it when she was 1,000% down. She's been under the 200 all of that time. She had a real strong rip here. I mean, that is anxious. The 200 is getting closer to her, but that was a huge gap. And she jumped off of her 50 straight to the 200. Not one hiccup in the center, and didn't even stop. Just kept going and going. This went from, let's call it 0013. Let's call that 13. 13 to 175. If you take away all the zeros, that's the way you do the math. So you're looking at 1,200% run that we had there. And that went from the 10th of November to the 24th. So you're looking at 12 days, counting the weekends, right? So that was a serious run. She came back down, landed right on the 200, did not go under it. All of these SMAs came up, gave her another jump up. She came back down to the 200. We get a big M. You see that M there? You see an M for murder? Go across the bottom. As soon as it hits the bottom, you normally have a tail that just keeps falling. You see a W, it does the same thing because that's winner. At the end of the W, it just goes up. I'm not saying every single time, but most of the time. That's what we had here, a serious drop. She came down underneath the 200, which she hasn't been underneath for a long time, and she's coming down to this strong. Where did I get that resistance from? Well, maybe on a shorter time frame, it'll make sense. It says it's at 0024, and we're at 0031. Oscillators are very cold right now on the long chart, folks. I'm going to jump down to that 15-minute. So we've got a high here of 006, let's call it. She was above the 200 for a day and a half, fell under that, through our resistance, down to this low. Did bounce off of that, but she is pretty much right there again. Yeah, you can see we are right there at our low again. She bounced off of that low, but she doesn't show a whole lot of enthusiasm here. Our oscillators, they're mixed. Our PPO is planing out right now, while our MACD is climbing. You can see our MACD is climbing and our price is falling. That's doing the opposite, folks. That's called a divergence, and divergence means there is a reversal coming. Things have to snap back into right order. So we have got a falling PPO, but a rising MACD. So when this opens up, kind of think of it as a fish mouth closing. As soon as it pops back and goes the right way, a lot of volume should come in, and we could see a turnaround and a reversal, a bounce back. All of our SMAs look like they're right at the cusp of thinking about turning around right now. Let's just take a quick look at our 5-day, 5-minute. Doesn't look a whole lot different than our 15-minute. Except to say that we are on top of the 200 haul. I know a lot of you don't use this. The 200 haul, which is purple when it falls on my screen, blue when it rises. This is a lot like your 200-day haul, except it puts more credence on current prices. And I'm telling you right now, the penny stocks really pay heed to this. We see more times that becomes the floor of a fall. It comes down, it scoots across the top of a 200, rises, comes down and smacks that 200 and then jumps off of it. The 200 haul. But if you don't have it, you can't see that happening. I keep it on my charts. So right now, we just had a bounce off of the 200 haul, and she is going up. We have a change of direction in all of our oscillators. PPO's climbing. We got a crossover in our MACD. RSI is falling a little bit. But what I notice here, my PPO is climbing up. You see how this looks like a bottle or a vase? It's a mirror image. It's opened up. The fish mouth has opened up. Well, whenever I see my ADX trend continuation going down and my PPO, percentage price oscillator, going up, guaranteed 100% your price is climbing, which is a real nice oscillators to use when you're trading. When these are going apart, as soon as either one of them change direction, up or down, if they change direction, it means my climb has stopped climbing. So this is a great signal for me to know when to get out if I'm waiting for a dip. All right, there you go for Stahl. She looks like she is still falling right now, but she shows hint of thinking about coming around. Has she got a reason to climb? I don't know. Digital tokens are coming out right now, but just to drop this on you, I think it's FINRA passed a law, a rule, if you will, that stock companies can now issue digital dividends. They couldn't do that last year, and there were companies trying to do it. Badger was one of them who did it. I got theirs. It hasn't been much use, but I got theirs. So this could end up being used as a dividend somewhere down the road, and a gold back dividend should have value all the time, right? All right, what do we got next? Well, I don't remember. Who came in? Cholo did. Hello, Cholo. VIZC. Yes, you can see me. This is Viz Connect. Seems to me I looked at this a long time ago. I mean, over a year ago. Viz Connect is on the OTC, bottom tier, pink. She's current. She's got all the validated information you can expect. This is looking good. Verified profile and transfer agent. Independent directors. When you list them here on the OTC market, that means you have serious aspirations of uplisting. You can say whatever you want in the news press on the pink, but to actually list them here, it means you've mentioned it somewhere in a filing, which is hard news. They also tell us she's a shell risk. That's not a good thing. Shell company means we're not doing business yet. We're waiting for a deal, a merger, an acquisition. We're set up. But a shell risk says we're in business doing something. We're just not making any money doing it. That ain't a good thing. So we'll take a look at that here in a second. They finished today at a real low price, 0004. I normally don't look at stocks until they hit 0005, and they better have something going for them if I'm going to look. Just because they don't move fast. As a day trader, I'm looking for stocks that are going to move. You want some static. How far do you bounce in a day? If you're just going from 4 to 5 to 4 to 5 to 4 to 5 for months, I don't want to look at you. So I normally don't look at these, but who was it? Was it Velmore a couple weeks ago brought us one that jumped underneath the 0005, and it was in the double zeros, and that was a nice ripper. So this one had a 20% fall today, which meant it fell 0001. That's all it takes. Go up one, you've had a 20% gain. So VizConnect operates a consulting firm specializing in helping companies with first-class business development consulting. The company's portfolio of services include real estate acquisition, equity building, debt removal, revenue generation, and asset acquirement. Everything a business is involved in and wants help, this company is going to do for you. And I'm guessing they do this in America. That's the way it looks to me. They're an American company here in Maine. So let's just start off with the general information. Then we'll look at the pages I've pulled up. Oh, what happened there? God, serious drop in volume, going from almost 58 million down to 2.2 million. Now, this is an average. 57 million is an average over the last 30 days, which means more days should have been over 57 million than under 57 million. And today she's down to 2 million. That's bloody scary. Share structure for Viz, that's bloody scary too. That's a ton of shares. Outstanding 5.7 billion shares. Well, that's good to see. Look at the insiders. They got the lion's share of it. You rarely see the insiders owning billions of their own shares. They got 3 billion. We get the rest. It's almost 50-50 split. We get 2.7 billion. I'm not happy with that float at all. But since they're carrying more of them than I am, I'm not going to cry too much. Market cap for the company, with all them shares, all they got is 2.8 million for their market cap. Financials, did they have any money coming in? Nope, not on the annual, not on the quarterly. What's their balance sheet look like? Awfully light. A lot of dashes here, a lot of zeros. They got $11,000 in the bank as of September last year, $13,000 in assets. The entire company is worth $13,000. Gee, many. And they got more debt than they got liability assets. Yeah, that makes sense, but it's not much. It's only 16,000. So this really, it looks more like a shell company to me. They don't have any debt. They don't have any assets. I mean, $2,000 worth of debt. Whoop-de-doo. We're dividing that $2,000 worth of debt amongst 2.7 billion shares. So what do we got? We each get like a quarter of a cent that we're carrying for the company. Nonetheless, it is a bag at this point in time. Now, I don't know. Did you say anything down here, Cholo? If there was a catalyst involved with this, can you please look at it? Here, I'll bring it up so everyone can see this for you. No, you say you got into it, but you didn't tell me why you got into it. So I could look for a reason. So what did I find? All right, looking at the news. Dun, 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 dun. They got a new chief finance officer here. Still talking about the chief financial officer. Demonstrates financial compliancy by bringing tax filings current. Don't not keeping your tax filings or any of your filings current. That gets more companies in trouble. On the 6th of February, announces debt-free status, paving the way for future company growth. That is great. That's what it looks like. It looks like she is just a clean landing for a big old jet to come in and start making use of this airport. Announces strategic business plan. Good. This is what we need to know. The initial industry sectors that VizConnect will be focused on are that of healthcare, pharmaceuticals, real estate development, real estate investment, new disruptive technologies, including AI, of course, and related entities. That doesn't really narrow it down much for us, does it? If they were a SPAC, they'd have to do better than that. Anything else we got here? Well, I thought it funny. They wanted to compare themselves to Berkshire Hathaway's business model. In case you don't know, Berkshire Hathaway is owned by Warren Buffett, and it's one of the most expensive stocks on the market. And they're a holdings company, and I don't know a whole lot about it, but that's what they talk about here. But that's it. It's not like they give us a name of a company or how much money they're projecting. We don't have anything like that going here. So it's pretty speculative at best. At best. To me, it's just a, hi, how you doing? Just wanted to stop in and let you know I'm alive. I got one more here. What's this opened up for? I don't know. I don't see anything here. Nope. I see nothing else here, folks. That looks to be it. I can't find any real reason for this to be running. We could take a quick look over at Twitter, but I don't think it's really necessary. So I'm going to jump over here to the charts, VIZC. Let's back this out. Always get a good look. All right, so we are down here in the 000 zone, which we like to call the barcode or the picket fence. As I said, it just bounces between two numbers, boink, boink, boink. And the reason it does that is there's no middle ground. There's nothing in between 0004 and 0005. You got to go from one to the other. And unless you got any reason to go higher, you just come back. And that's what you see for months and months. And that's what we're looking at here. Months and months of going sideways between a couple of digits. She was actually at a low here of 0002. We hit a high here of 0008. That is a 400% run in 5 months. However, she did that run in, let me see, that's the beginning of January. That is 1 week. So she did move 400% in 1 week, which is a reason to start looking at it. That's a huge run. We're going from underneath 0005, which is rarely ever running zone. Nobody's even out of bed. How can you be on the track running that quick? And it was up there. Came back down. Could have come all the way back down to the 200, but it did not. It came down to the 50. Now remember, as I said, there's no middle ground between these digits. So it's not really going underneath the 50. It just has nowhere else to go. So it's bouncing here on the 50, which is the way I like to look at it. Then she bounced up. We got ourselves a double-digit move here. Woohoo! Came back down, and we're floating across this new support right here, which, you know, this is good. It's a level up. Now, is she going to do another bounce? I don't know. You know, when did this happen? That was on the 5th. Did we see anything? I think the news we were looking at was actually in February. So I'm not real sure why she bounced. Oscillators right now show everything is coming down. There isn't any heat on our oscillators. It's coming down to that half-hour view. So there's our support that we're bouncing off of right now. We had that high. We did ride our 200. We were on that firmly, took a dip down with no middle ground. Now, every now and then, I know somebody's going to argue with me. I saw the price at 00045. You said there's no middle ground, and you'll see it at 00045. You're right. I'm wrong. But that's not for you or me. We can never buy it at that price. Brokers and marketers can. People who have special privileges. When you see these OTC stocks running pre-market or aftermarket or even falling, that's not us, the investors. That's brokers and marketers doing that behind the scenes. They get to trade it and we can't. I hate that rule. If anybody gets to trade a stock, we should all be able to trade it. There shouldn't be open hours for some people and closed hours for others. I don't like that at all. Looking at our oscillators on our 30-minute, no hope here. Every single oscillator is pushing down right now. We just had a negative crossover on our MACD, and our RSI is really chilly down there at 41. I don't like to be below 55. And just to glance at our 5-minute, right, you got your barcode, your picket fences here, a lot of bounces up and down. Yes, I see the middle ground. I see it. And right now we're down there at 0004. So off of our 0002, we're up 100%. She went up 400%, fell below the 50% mark, right? So to have her land here is a good thing. Where she's going to go from here, all of our oscillators are falling on our 5-minute. All of our SMAs are turning down right now for the most part. So we don't see any heat in the charts. The technicals don't say that she's going to climb. We don't see any real heat in the news. So I don't see it running right now, but this may be a good buying opportunity if you are in it and you are thinking, well, because I own a lot of stocks that haven't moved for a very, very long time. And I don't want to average down all of it. They all need averaging down. They do. But when you got 80 stocks that have done reverse splits and have fallen, you got to pick and choose. And which ones do you choose? The ones that are ready to move. I'm not going to waste my time throwing money into a stock that ain't going to move for another year. Well, this one's moving, so it's at least worthy of considering. So that's about all I can say for VIZC. Yeah, VIZC. Good. All right, what have we got next here? What time is it? 4:42. That's a fast car. I like those. Cholo, you got another one. Let's dive into that one real quick. This is IMTL Image Protect, another very cheap stock at 0003. She was up 50%, which means she was at 0002. Half of that is 0001. So that's not a big move, really, but that is a 50% jump. Pink tier, current, got our validated information. That's as good as you're going to feel about this stock. So this is an American company. They are a business service company specializing in vitally important review and reputation management for businesses of all types and sizes, as well as individuals who need online reputation assistance. Well, that's rather interesting. I don't think I've heard of lawyers protecting your reputation. You know, you've got a right not to be slandered, and there's fake news out there, and you have shorters that could easily say bad things, but see a company out there that's actually protecting your reputation, and your reputation is worth something. You go out there and brand yourself for millions or billions of dollars. You don't want your name tarnished. And if that tarnishing actually hurts your stock price, you damn sure don't want that happening. So this could be a very good business in today's world. So let's see what we got here. I've got one page opened up. What is that about? Wow. Oh, that's 2019. What a shame. I was looking at all those Form 4s. Form 4s are filed whenever the insiders acquire or dispose of shares. And they can do that in a lot of different ways, but we're interested if there's a P for purchase or an S for sale. We're always looking for the P's. Ding, 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 ding. We got a jackpot here. Problem is, it's years old, so none of that matters. So what does matter? Well, check out the volume. Oh my God. Whoa. We have got 1,000% increase in volume, going from 42 million shares up to 432 million shares. That is impressive, folks. Wow. Now, keep in mind at this price, let me see, you can get 1 million shares at 0001 for $100, $500,000 at 0002 for $100. So I think you get 333,000 for $100 at that price. So that gives you an idea of how many trades there were here. So it's not under the radar. It's getting traded a lot. But wow, what a jump in volume. We better find a catalyst. You don't jump like that for no reason. Okay, what do we got for share structure? Please be good. No. All right, we got a lot of shares on the market, 6.3 billion. Insiders only have about 300 million of them. So we got a lot of them. We get about 6 billion of them. The problem here is they got virtually everything on the market that they have in the bank. This is the absolute most shares they own, 6.5 billion. And they can use these shares to put on the market, get some money coming in to help them keep things rolling, or they can use it as money to make deals with other people, buy assets and stuff. They got no money to make deals with anybody. They don't even have any. Well, they got about 200,000 shares, 200 million shares they could put on the market, and that's it. And then they'd be fully diluted. So that is a concern. Market cap for the company, 1.2 million. This company making any money? A wee bit. They made $51,000 at the end of 2022 and got to keep most of that, $41,000. Quarterlies, they're doing average, I guess, right? 10, 20, that's about $50,000 over the last year. So that's what they do. Balance sheet for the company. Oh, look at that. No money in the bank. How do you survive with no money in the bank? Total assets, just a little over $500,000. Total liabilities, just a little under $1 million, which means we're holding a wee bit of deficit here, about $200,000. Disclosures, we didn't have anything. We already looked at that. In news, was there anything on the news? Please, we got to have something here. What year is that? That's 2024, and that came out today. All right, EQS News, Image Protect reports 40% surge in the multi-billion-dollar online review industry through review control reputation management. What am I reading here? When did this come out? The 14th. The company announces 9th month total debt reduction of $2 million. Okay. Reflects on 2023 successes and unveils ambitious plans for growth in the multi-billion-dollar online review industry. Unveils game-changing strategies. So they got something going on here. Let's see if we can quickly dive into this. There's issues solely responsible for content, debt management, company attributes. No, I'm looking for dates. I'm looking for numbers. This multi-billion-dollar industry aiming to bring our valuable services to thousands of businesses. All right, so I'm not seeing anything here, but obviously whatever they've said has really brought in a lot of volume. Now, it's a shame it didn't jump further. Now, maybe it did. I haven't looked at the chart. Maybe it went up 1,000% and came back down. So I don't know, but goodness gracious, what a jump in volume today. Was there any other news there? The 24th, that's the same thing. Press release. They duplicated it. Anything different? I don't see anything different there. And then their debt reduction. And debt reduction is always good. All right. And what's this? That's way back. All right. So let's go check out IMTL. I'm just going to copy this because I get a feeling I'm going to type it wrong. Bing. Roll on back to our big view. IMTL, we did have a bounce today, and she held her bounce. Yeah, she just went to 3. So I got her opened up to a 6-month, 4-hour view. She has been down there pretty much on the floor of 0001 to 0002. We had a bounce here. That came in September off the floor, 0001 to 0006. That's a 600% gain if you were in 0001. Very few people actually get in at 000 win. A ton of people get in at 0002 and normally end up holding the stock for a very long time. And then when it starts to move and it gets up to 002, hopefully they're selling with that 1,000% gain, because by the time it gets close to a penny, the companies are normally looking at doing a reverse split. And that's when we normally see these companies with billions of shares do a reverse split. And if you think, oh, it's almost at a penny, one morning you wake up and all your shares are gone. And it's like, what? And it looks good initially, but it isn't. Promise you, reverse splits on the OTC market aren't good. They normally aren't good on any market, but they can be successful. So after that high, she came right back down, right there to the floor. Had another bounce up here to 000 floor, 4 back to the floor, and we've been bouncing. Now we've had some volume off and on. Right now we got a little bit of volume coming in, but is it going to hang around? I don't know. All I can say is we see a hint of change in our 200-day SMA. Because of the big lurch up, got to remember the price points are hooked to every single SMA. The higher that price goes, the more it tugs on these SMAs and turns them. If we can get this to, look, there, that's important right there. I'm telling you, that's important. The 200 haul finally turning up actually is a strong signal on our OTC penny stocks. So this got up. Everything is now turned up and starting to climb. That is a sign of strength on a very cold chart. All of our oscillators are strong too, right? All of them are pushing up right now, looking good. Come on down to our 1 hour. Not a lot of extra to see there. Our 200 is going flat. It was falling. It is going flat right now. Come on down to our 5 minute. It ain't going to tell us a whole lot more. Now, you can see this is what a Heiken Ashi bar does. You see the pressure getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And when the bar gets real small, by looking at habits, I have a feeling it's probably going to bounce. I point that out to you because when you're looking at a regular bar, I'm going to bring up a standard candle. That's what a standard candle looks like to you. You don't get any information off of that, right? You feel naked. You feel like you're in a room with the lights off. So the Heiken Ashi is not just a silly bar for people that can't read candles. It actually gives you information telling you when a change is about to occur. That's why I like the Heiken Ashi. Look here. The green's got smaller, smaller, smaller. Pink. So there is a reason to use the Heiken Ashi. And looking at our 5 minute oscillators, well, those aren't looking bad, folks. PPO is pushing up, percentage price oscillator, just like that MACD, pushing up. Green bars are getting bigger. RSI is in the overbought right now. For those of you who don't like heat, well, shame on you. I want heat. I don't think it's going to fall when it gets up there. I mean, sooner or later, but I don't think it's going to fall right now. I've seen things go into RSI and stay there for days, and you're missing out on gains because it is climbing all the time. It's burning. All right, that is IMTL. Let us move on to the next one. I do believe we're going to skip QEDN. I gave you 2. What time is it? 4:53. We're doing okay. So who am I looking at now? I need my other mouse. Velmore, TDRK. You didn't think I was going to get to you, did you? I am. So let me close off IMTL, bring up TDRK. Okay, seems to me, I remember now. Okay, this is an interesting stock. There wasn't a lot to talk about, but there's something interesting I want to share with you that you may want to consider. So let's just start off with the general information. TDRK, Tide Rock Companies, finished today almost 2 cents virtually. Had about 2.5% gains. Another pink current stock. Got her validated information. Looking okie dokie. So let's see what this company does first. Tide Rock Company is a diversified investment and advisory service company. We're getting a lot of consultant companies that we're looking at today. Specialize in real estate, solar, infrastructure, and renewable energy. Doesn't anybody focus in on one thing anymore? Everybody's diversified. Company is in Boston, Massachusetts, so we are looking at a U.S. company. What was the relative volume around this company? She had almost 3 times her normal volume, going from 400,000 to 1.1 million. Share structure for TDRK, that's not bad. Outstanding share count of 65 million. That's not bad at all. Insiders got the lion's share, about 42 million. We get about half of that, only 22 million. Now, it doesn't constitute a low float, but that's a low float. That's pretty good. I like that. See what we got for financials for TDRK. Not much money, but they're not paying anything for it. But that's what you get with consultancy. How much does it cost you to talk to somebody? It doesn't. So your digital products, consultancy, royalties, these are all products that don't cost you anything. So they get to keep every dollar they make. But they're not making any. Last quarter, they got nothing. The quarter before that one in June, they got nothing. Don't know what's going on here. Let's take a look at the balance sheet. Another company with no money in the bank. Total assets. Are we looking at the right one? We are. It was like deja vu. Total assets, about $250,000. Total liabilities, about 8 times that, almost 2 million. So we are holding some deficit in this company of 1.6 million. See what we got over here in the disclosure department. Nothing I see that's jumping out at me. I can't remember what this is. Shareholder meeting. Tide Rock Company, 50 million shares of common stock. Now, you've always got to look for certain words like, is this a direct offering? Is it a public offering? There's different offerings. Public offerings are putting more shares, new shares on the market. That lifts up the float. But they could be doing a reseller for some big purchaser. That's not going to add anything. Could be a direct offering, selling shares to a big whale. That's not going to hurt us. I'm not going to dive into this right now. Outside of that, I don't see anything else going on here. So, the news. All right. I remember now we've got no current news here. The only current news we have, and it's not current, is August of last year. But notice this. Because I had a little bit of time to look ahead, I jumped over to Twitter. And this is what I found on Twitter. Where are you at, Twit? Here you are. All right, this is just about, it actually came from Tide Rock. I was just going through Tide Rock tweets. This came out February 13th of this year. Tide Rock authorized shares reduced from 1.5 billion to 250 million, filed with NVSOS. So they say they filed for it. 1.5 billion authorized shares, what they have in the bank, down to 250 million, which is good news. Now, it doesn't give us any more shareholder value. It doesn't change anything like that. I guess what it makes you feel is a little more secure that they're not going to flood the market with a ton of public offerings, making money, diluting our shareholder value. I am thinking that's what you're probably supposed to derive from this. But look, that's February 13th. The news that we were just looking at here came out August 31st, 2023. Look what they say. The company has decided to reduce the share count from 1.5 billion to 150 million. Better than 250 million. But what happened? Did they not do this back in August? Did they do it and bring all those authorized shares right back and now they're doing it again? I didn't have time to do a deep dive, but I am guessing they never followed through with this. So when we go look at this chart, remember this date, as if you can remind me, August 31st, and remember February 13th. Are they using the news to stimulate the charts? I see companies that say, we're going to have a public offering. We're going to put 30 million shares out there, and the stock don't like it. You can see it starting to fall. So they'll come out with the press release. We're going to cancel our public offering. All of a sudden, there's a surge. Just because now they know there's no public offering. So sometimes I wonder if they just use fake news to get the charts to move. So remember August 31st. If I forget, remind me. Matter of fact, that's all I know about this company. So let's go take a look at TDRK, right? I got that right. Yes, TDRK. Starting to lose my voice. All right, winding the clock back to 4 hours. Ooh, is that 4 hours? Not a lot of bars, so we know there's not a lot of regular trading going on here. That is 6 months of trading. Looks like 20 days to my eyes. So We got a high here that hit in August of last year. Now, what are we looking for? August, right? Didn't I just say August 23rd? August 23rd was the date we were looking for. This is August 31st. But we didn't have any other news, I don't believe. I've got to run over there and check, folks. I like to know why a stock moves on the chart. August 31st, right there. Tide Rock Company announces. There it is. See, now I'm worried about this company. Maybe do some more research. That's not right. If they put out news, you see the stock jump from what? It went from a penny and a half up to over 3 cents. So that's over 100% rip on news that looks like it didn't occur. And you had a big fall afterwards. Maybe they came out in a filing and said, oh, we changed our mind. We're not going to do this right now. Maybe later. I don't know, but she came down pretty quick, hitting a low here of 007 when she was up there at a penny and a half. So she jumped 100%, came back down, and then lost 50% from where she was at. In the long term, fake news does not help unless you're an insider who has somebody selling shares for them so they can make money. In other words, a pump and dump. You can pump a stock with fake news, folks. So we hit a low here of 003. Looks like we hit it twice, came up, slowly got over our 9-day. And then once she got on top of the 20, we got a nice jump and pump here. I don't know. This was on the 13th. The 13th. There's the other date, right? February 13th is what I said Twitter did. So there you go, folks. Now we've got two pieces of news, both about reducing the authorized share count to much lower numbers. This one, I don't think happened. You don't put 1 billion shares back onto the market in just a couple months and then say, FINRA won't do that. And I don't think it happens that fast. I don't think you can move that many shares around that quick. So I don't think they did it here. That was a nice rip, bad dip. Now we got another rip and she's still climbing. What do you think's going to happen? If she fell 50% from this starting point, could she fall 50% from this starting point and end up back down here at 003 because she's at 006 at her start point here? That's what I'd be watching for. We got lots of volume that came in from the day the news came out. It is now dwindling away. Oscillators are still very strong. They are showing heat. We got our 20-day about ready to cross that 50-day SMA. Technically, the chart looks good. I can't lie about that. Now, I'll tell you the truth, folks. If I become aware of a pump and dump, however it goes on, if I even think it's going to happen, I'm not worried about it. I would dive into it. That's like a heads up. You're ahead of the game. You know to expect the stock to fall. So don't get greedy. If your stock is climbing and you're at 50, 60, 80%, sell something. It's not a everything or nothing decision. Nobody's saying abandon your entire position. But if you're at 80% or 100%, you're at 100%, folks. You can sell half of what you have, get all the money back you invested, and now you're risking nothing. Zero. Don't worry about how much gains I'm losing. Now you have no risk. You can't lose anything but potential gains. And you won't go broke by losing potential gains. That's the safe game. Then you can push it. Starts to climb some more, take some more profit, leave some there, and then leave maybe 20% to ride it to the mountaintop. You play a little bit of it and get it out of your system. See if you can find the ceiling. See how good you are at it. She starts to tumble. Maybe you realize I can't find the ceiling as good as I thought. But at least you didn't pay to learn that lesson. You already took your profits before you went out and played. So the 1 hour chart looks pretty bloody strong here. She's bounced off over 20, but all of our SMAs are climbing. Oscillators are starting to show signs of cooling off, but only because of that one bar, nothing else. 5-day, 5-minute. I can't complain about the chart. Not really. We've got an uptrend here. Our new SMA came into the picture. The price fell to the new SMA. I always think the price is going to go to a new SMA. And it did. Hung around there a bit, been bouncing off of it, and now it's starting to pull away. Honestly, folks, this all looks good. Regardless of how the stock got stimulated to start climbing, it's climbing. So as a trader, You really don't worry about if the news is legitimate, if the company has value. You're worried about momentum. Is there enough to keep this stock going? Is there some more gains to be taken? I'm not an investor for the most part. People get on me and say, oh, you're making people lose money. This stock has this problem and that problem. The CEO tells lies. You know what? I'm not in most stocks long enough for any of that to matter. You're right. From an investment point of view, this stock sucks. But from a day trader's point of view, I'm liking the juice that's being squeezed out of this berry. So it really doesn't matter. So the chart looks good right now, folks. But again, you can see our volume is dwindling away. You can see our oscillators are starting to cool off. So I'd be watching this one right now. So what time is it? Let's see what we got here. I am at 5:05. All right, Jerome. Jerome. I think I can get to you, buddy. Jerome. No, I can't because I'd be skipping somebody. I have got to get to Brian first. First come, first served. Brian with a Y. He asked for niche. Niche, I do know a little bit about. Coming on over to niche. Where you at, niche? I got your niche here. All right. I did not get to do a whole lot more due diligence on any more of the stocks. That's about as far as I could get. So, niche, ticker NICH, Niches Inc., finished today just under 001, just under it. She's at 00095 with about 27% gains. She is on the pink tier, current validated information. Best you're going to get with the pink. Now, what does niches do? I'm pretty familiar with niches. Now, let me see here. Don't confuse me here, right? Okay, right. All right, I became aware of niches when they were working with clothing lines, influencers. They were creating these mini lines of clothing for influencers so their followers would buy those. They were also working with counterfeiting technologies, all different kinds, secret stitches that they could put in clothes, certain ways to mark stuff that was invisible so that you could track and monitor products, know what's real, what's not. And then here recently, if I remember, Topher Whiskey. I think they've got more than just whiskey now. They got into the luxury spirits industry, and they have been making a big push. I think it was right before Christmas they got into that, and it was at Christmas time they really started pushing their spirits. So that's what the company is doing. I may be missing a few things, but that's roughly what's going on here. Volume, we had a nice strong increase, going from about 34 million to 54 million. I wonder if she has a reason for that. Share structure, we got about 500 million shares outstanding. Insiders don't own many of those. They only got about 3 million, and I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt there. We get all the rest, 580 million shares in our float. We have over 500 million shares in the float. Market cap, is that right? 500. That doesn't seem right either. 500 million, 25. That doesn't seem right to me. That's 001. That would be 1/10. No, maybe it is. It says it's a $500,000 market cap. It seems awfully low to me with that many shares, but maybe it is. I know. You think I'd get the math right. Financials. Well, at the end of 2023, and that was just in August, full year, they did $4,000. Lost $17,000 making that money. You'd have been better staying in bed. End of their last quarter, they lost $2,000 and didn't make a penny. That isn't working. Looks like a shell company to me. Money in the bank, $7,000. Not much to talk about. $200,000 in assets, $750,000 in liabilities. We're holding $500,000 in deficit. Again, with as many shares as they got, that's not a lot of deficit. Looks like, I don't understand it. I've known this company for a while. As I just told you, they're doing this with influencers, clothing lines, counterfeiting, Topher. Where's the money? For bloody sake, where is the money? I have been noticing this. I'm sure I covered this company, and if we were to pull it up, I'm sure I looked at it over a year ago. And there still is no revenues. Beep, 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 beep. Red flag, folks. There's no reason to follow a company if they're not producing revenues and they keep doing more. What are you doing? You're not making any money. So I'm not liking this company. I used to like what I was reading, but until I start seeing some revenues come in, to me, it's just a bunch of BS. That's my opinion. All right. Let's see if there was any news over here for the company. 2.6, Niches announces establishment of overseas representative office in Asia. A new advisory board member to spearhead market expansion. Great. You're making it bigger. Are you making any money? Or are you just getting more debt? I don't know. Niches welcomes industry expert Nicola to Tover Spirits. Niches reflects successful 2023 and unveils ambition plans. There's Tover. You'd think that would be making some money here, right? That's their new product. You see any numbers? You see any dates? The debut of the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show 2023. That's not real current. Tover Spirits prepares for its debut in Florida market in Q1. I'm presuming that's our Q1. Looking ahead to 2024, Niches Inc. is in the final stages of filing an S1, initiating the process of uplisting to a higher exchange. Okay, that's talk. They're in the process of uplisting. You know, this is what I'm saying. Just because they write it in a news press that says we're thinking about it, we're talking about it, it's a consideration. You can't sue them if they don't do it. And you'd be amazed how many investors do. You lied. You said you were uplisting. And the judge says, no, it says they were initiating it. Never said anything about following through. So I take all this stuff with a grain of salt. Everybody says they're uplisting because that's what you want to hear until you actually see a filing, and then it has to be approved. I saw one company just try to file to change their name, and for some reason that brought up a red flag and they got put onto the expert market. So just filing these things can be stirring a bee's nest up sometimes. Was there any other news here that was worthy of considering? No, see, I'm all the way back to June and November now. And that's when they filed that, folks. That was filed in November. Have we seen anything since? How many months does it take to file? You initiated it. Come on. Been quite a few months now. All right, let's go take a look. Wait a minute. I know I didn't check the filings. I remember. All right, they've got a most recent 10Q. I haven't had time to dive into it. We're not going to have time to dive into it. When you see this NT, that is saying not filing the 10Q. It means they're going to be late. And when you file this, and you got to file it in time, it means you got 5 more days from the deadline. This was filed on the 17th. Now, this is another trick. I'm telling you, folks, I've noticed it. A lot of these companies that haven't got any revenues going on, they don't have anything much to talk about, they will file a not 10Q. We're not filing our financial on time, and that'll buy them 5 days. Well, for some reason, the stock runs when they file that not 10Q. If they had filed their financials with no money coming in, the stock wouldn't have moved. It wouldn't have moved. But because they filed this, it moves. Then a day or 5 days later, they file their financials with nothing in them. That's it. It's like another false stimulator to the stocks. I see this, folks. I've been looking at these day after day, and I just see them repetitiously. So I'm just saying, when you see companies that have red flags like this, put them on your red flag watch list. But again, I'll play them if the stock has momentum. That's all I'm really after. I'm not investing. I'm trading. And I'll ride any bull, whether it has a saddle or not. So let's go take a look at ticker NICH. How are we doing on time here? Quarter after. I appreciate you guys if you're hanging around. Thank you very much. We may be able to look at one more, folks, but if you put your tickers in beyond Brian Todorovic, we're probably not going to get to them. And I'm sorry, folks. It's not fair, I know, but I put up a placeholder so that everybody knows online that I'm going to be doing this. And you can put in your tickers early. I'm not here, but I do come and check, and I see the ticker. I do the homework. I get you more information. And by the time 4 o'clock rolls around, I've got my 6, 7, or 8 tickers we can look at. So let's go take a look at niche now. Okie dokie, rolling the clock back to that 4-hour view. Let me go back 3 years. I wonder if I have my blue line here to see that. No blue line. When did this high hit? 76 cents. Not a big high, was it? That was back in January of 2022. That was like 2 years plus ago. We had a big fall and pretty much been nowhere since then. There's our 200-day SMA on the weekly chart. Just take a quick glance at the yearly. Well, she had a big fall. That's how long it took to fall, is 200 to catch up. It's not that the chart did anything to make it bend. It happened a long time ago. This reacts with a big delay. We had a breakout when the 200 got close. You could see it all push. I wouldn't be surprised to go see a piece of news right in this area. Probably nothing big, just they knew that the chart was setting up. If we can put a piece of news out there, we can use the momentum setup to get themselves a run. CEOs are not dumb, folks. Lots of volume here since the 200's gotten close, but she ain't getting over it, is she? No, she isn't. That's our yearly chart. Look at our 6-month, 4-hour view. Again, we've got the same sort of setup here. A push towards the 200. Obviously got a resistance drawn here from somewhere. That is at 0033. She came down to this low of 0005. Bounced off of that. She got on top of the 200. Fell underneath it, as I would expect. Initial breakthrough isn't going to surge normally. Didn't come down as low. Bounced off of our 50. Tried to get under there and then came down to our 200-day 200 haul. Wrestled with that one, and then we really got our big push off of the 200 haul. A big solid board you could really push off of. And that push, that went from 0009 up to 003. So call it from 9 to 30. Over 300% gains. Stayed up there a while. Bounced on the 200, came underneath it. And right now, even though it looks like she's trying to climb, all of our SMAs, 200 haul, 50, 20, are all pushing down on her head. She's going to have a hard time unless she gets a lot of volume or a catalyst. She's most likely not going to be able to break that push down. And right now, where's she at? 00095. She is on top of the 9 and just underneath the 20. So you can't climb until you're on top of the 9. And our oscillators show she is trying right now. You can see our PPO is trying to push up. MACD is trying to push up. Got a crossover right now. And our RSI is climbing. Look at our, let's go to 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes. She's been trying to break through, staying close to our 200 haul. Not close to the 200 SMA. Hit this low. Think of it as a crouch before the bounce. She's kind of hanging around up here, then got super low out of nowhere and bounced up, and now she's up to her 200. Pushing, she's trying to get up there. Our 20-day has crossed our 200 haul. All of the SMAs, the 50, the 200, and the 20 are starting to crest right now. And all of our oscillators, except the RSI, are going the right direction. RSI is cooling off, as we'll probably see on the 5-day, 5-minute. Bing! One red bar right there. But that's not a bad setup. We were on top of the 200 here, floated down, and we've cut back up. We are now on top of the 200. The 200 is still kind of falling right now. She's trying to level off. All of our other SMAs are pointed up. They're trying to push up, which will help push all of this up. Oscillators show strength, but that one red bar shows a cool down right now. Overall, let me get back. I need to see. Overall, I really don't see this chart as breaking out. She's showing signs of bouncing, but she's bouncing downhill. Every now and then we get a good poke, but I'm not seeing any real reason for her to climb. There's no revenues. She says she's expanding her business, but what business? I know she's doing alcohol. It sounds like that should be making money, but we haven't seen anything. So without any fruit on the tree, it's kind of tough for me to get excited about the harvest. So I don't see anything going on with the chart. I don't see anything going on with the news. All right, we're going to do one more here. I think I'm going to be able to squeeze in Jerome. Oh, no. Brian Todorvik. Nothing personal, Brian. Jerome gets upset because he comes in so late, and I don't like to do that to you, Jerome. All right, we are going to look at SM, SBSM, FM. Now, I'm thinking I know this company. Sunshine Biopharma finished today at about 6.5 cents, went up 6%, penny stock on the major exchange. Okay, still not having any bells dinging here. Sunshine Biopharma is a pharmaceutical company focused on the research, development, and commercialization of cancer and antiviral drugs. In addition, the company is engaged in the development and commercialization of science-based nutritional supplements. That isn't helping me. I see it's a Canadian company here. Let's just take a quick gander over here, see if they give us any more information at their website. Looks like research and development, which means if I go over here to their financials, I shouldn't see any money. Well, they're not research and development. I mean, they may be, but they obviously are making money. They have products that they're selling or services. Not getting a clear idea of what they're doing here. At the end of 2022, big jump, right? 2021, they were at 228,000. 2022, they're at 4.3 million, bringing home solid profits of 1.6 million. Quarterlies? Whoa, look at that. Full year, 4.3 million. Now we're doing that and more every single quarter. Looking at the last year, 5, 6, 12, 16, 18, 19. We're closing in on 20 million. That's like 400%, 500% increase on her standard annual revenues. That's hot. That's really good. Balance sheet for the company. They got more money in the bank than most we've been looking at, about 19 million, 27 million in assets, 5 million, 5.5 in liabilities. Yay, we got assets in this company. Stockholder equity of about 22 million. What is the share structure? How far does that 20 million go? Not bad. What would that come out to? About just under $1 a share. What? Yeah, something like that. I'd have to do the math. Don't take what I just said. I'm just thinking out loud here. Outstanding share count, 25 million. Don't know what the float is, but it's not more than 25 million, right? That's good. Market cap, they say, is 1.5 million. I'm not trusting that. Now, because this is a NASDAQ stock, always check and see if they have a warrant. Warrants are always going to be cheaper and whoa. What? 7 cents? I don't normally see. Normally, if the stock is 7 cents, the warrant is 1/10, 1/20th, 1/40th of the stock. It can be 1/4 of the stock, but it's never more than the stock because warrants give you the right to buy the stock at a guaranteed cheaper price. It just doesn't make sense. It's all backwards. It's looped inside itself. So forget about the warrant. It's not a great deal right now. And was that up, by the way? No, it broke even. I'm going to have to look at that later, figure out why that is. All right. Did we have any news for this company? Let's see what we got going on here. March of 2021. No. The 15th of this month announces the closing of an underwritten public offering. So they just put more shares on the market. They've increased the float. Good thing about that is they got to keep the money. Yeah, shareholder value. They took it from us. It's not a loan. We're hoping they're going to do something with it. Cash flow, make some money. They got 10 million bucks now. That's the last 3 pieces of news. I don't see anything here. We're back to November, and there's not one more piece of news here to look at. Disclosures, fingers crossed. We got an 8K on the 15th. This is probably about the shares. Definitive agreement entered into an underwriting agreement at Aegis Capital for a public offering of shares. Right, that's what I thought it was going to be. Ooh, okay, yay. We got an SC13G. What did I tell you about these? Always good news, guaranteed. New owner coming in. This is Armitage Capital. They have got themselves 2.1 million shares. Yeah, we always hope for more. That is 7.6% of the company. Now, these can be confusing to read sometimes. You see Stephen Boyd, 7.6. But a lot of times, Stephen Boyd is Armitage Capital. It's just because, companies have to have a representative, someone representing them. And that's not two purchases, it's one purchase. But we've got a new buyer in the company. Somebody has stepped in and bought something, and they don't do that without doing their own due diligence. And then I do see a Form 4 here in December. It's a purchase. Who bought them? Chief Executive Officer just bought, in December, they bought 20,000 shares at 10 cents a share. And what's the current price of the stock? That wasn't it. We're over here at Sunshine. Sunshine. They're a little upset right now. They've lost about 33% of it. So, what was the relative volume around the company today? She's jumping. She jumped from 1.4 million to 10 million shares today. What are we looking at there? 5 times, 6 times their normal volume. That's pretty incredible. And did we look over here? We did. So I didn't actually see a strong catalyst here. Did you? No. The only thing closing, that would be it. When you open up, you start flooding the market with shares, people get upset. I mean, I have seen a lot of stocks, as soon as new shares come on the market, start running. But most of the companies start falling. But when you say we're done, no more shares coming on the market, it's like, yay, you're done. Then the stock starts to run just because they closed it. That could be the only catalyst we have here, is that they closed it. And that took them 2 days. 2 days to sell $10 million worth of shares. How would you like to generate working capital that fast? So let's go take a look at SBFM, Sunshine Biopharma. Over here at Thinkorswim. This is my free trading platform. I got it from TD Ameritrade. I don't know where you get it now. TD Ameritrade merged with Schwab. Maybe you get it from Schwab or TD. I don't know. So this is the 4-hour chart. Let's just take a quick gander at the yearly chart. I've looked at this before. Had a serious run back here in May of 2023. She went from 50 cents up to $1.40, just shy of 300%. All these supports and resistances are based on this. They're algorithmic, and we're nowhere near those. But they will come into play once the price, if the price, gets up into this zone. That's why they haven't gone anywhere. I mean, I could put them there again later. But just because it's old news does not mean it's dead news on a chart. I guarantee you that much. So we've got a downtrend for a very long time, and we just hit a 1-year low there. That's a 1-year low bubble. Let's look at our 3-year. 3-year low bubble, folks. Now, you can see a bounce off of a 1-year, 3-year low bubble if the stock has value. People monitor low bubbles, and if they see a 1-year, a 52-week low pop up, they'll do quick DD. They'll get in there and they'll look at the financials, and they know exactly what they're looking for, and they'll look for fundamentals. And if the stock is undervalued, well, that's a flashing for sale sign. That is a buying opportunity, and they're just going to wait for it to bounce back. So they'll come in and start buying it up at this price. And a lot of times what you'll see is not a fast bounce, but you'll see the floor. Shares are moving. There is volume, but the price isn't moving anywhere. That's called accumulation. That's what goes on right there. Consolidation. That's another term for it. And you watch for that area, and then all of a sudden, bing, it takes off. So what do we got right here? We've got a low, came down, dipped. Right now, she is starting to go sideways. Lots of volume on the sell-off. More volume on the sell-off. Now we got volume coming in for the buying. She did pull back a little bit after market. Look at our oscillators. There's a perfect setup there that you can see easily. You see that nipple, that bottle? That is what I'm telling you. This is a pattern you can see with your eyeball like that. PPO coming down, ADX trend continuation. This ADX only has to be going in a straight line. That's all it's for. Doesn't matter if it's up or down. If that straight line is going in one direction, whatever is on the chart, downtrend or uptrend, is continuing. So this was in a straight line going up while it was falling. As long as it continues up, the price will continue falling. When you see your PPO and your ADX coming together like that, 100% your price is falling. When you see the two of them start to separate, I've said it before, guaranteed your price is starting to climb. We are seeing a change right now. They've come together, they're working out. So now is it time to watch? She is starting to go sideways. There you go. There's a backup token. We got a crossover on our MACD and our first green bar coming onto the scene. But look at our pathetic RSI. Here's the floor, 30. You don't want to get below 30. We are at 20. They had to break the cement and dig to get down to this level. So there's lots of ceiling. There's lots of recovery room here. Take a look at our 30-minute. There's your drop off. It was a stair step for a few days. She just kept piddling away. And then we had this big drop. Gone sideways here, right? Lots of sideways, lots of volume. Price isn't moving. Consolidation, accumulation. Somebody's buying shares here. You can't sell them unless somebody's buying them. And that's all going on right here. Now here we've hit a low bubble. Geez, we can't see that very good. Let me try to zoom in on this as best I can. All right, right there. We hit our low bubble. We got over the 20, over the 50. We are on top of the 9. After market hours, she has falling under the 9 down to the 50. This we don't like. That's a bad place to be. And our oscillators, they were showing signs of starting to recover, but that blip right there puts a damper on it, but it doesn't change everything forever. Let's take a look at our 5-day, 5-minute. Really flat. So our 200 came down, got flat, should have broke out right there. We should have had a breakout. We had a stretch. That was it. Closer it got, she pulled away from it. That is a horrible sign right there. The worst sign you can see. Started working away across all the SMAs, slowly getting closer, closing that gap in again on the 200. Then we have our crouch before the pounce. She's riding her 50, just moving along easily, and then this really deep bounce. How deep? 52-week low, 3-year low, not a normal drop. So you got to watch it now. So this happened, and then when she started coming back up and got on top of the 200, you can see she's hitting her head. She did not hit her head here. She did off of this bounce. Went deep, came up high, leveled off on our 200 haul, and like I told you, off the 200 haul, a solid piece of wood, bam, up to the 200. Bounce on that a couple times, make sure it's strong, bam, jump up. Do I want to come back down? No. Level off, go sideways, biding time, waiting for a strong SMA to come along. Now, I would have been looking for a bounce here. There's your 50, your 20, your 200. She went through them all. You can't always be right, but there's a probability we look for. There was a strong probability she could have bounced here, but she has come under. She kept going sideways, which really isn't a good sign after you've broke through all of your strong SMAs. That's not accumulation. That's preparation. Look at our dips. Dink, dink, dink. We're getting lower lows. So this tells me something's going to happen, and then crash. Bam. We fell here from 6.5 cents roughly down to 6 cents. It's not a huge drop, but if you've got tens of thousands of shares, it adds up. Absolutely. So where are we at right now? We're at 6.3. Hey. It's okay, folks. It's okay. Wait a minute. It is aftermarket. You can't trust this up here. That's where the bell hit. Right now, most people get confused. You do not read a bar chart, red bar at the top. Green bars you read at the top, red bars you read at the bottom. This is where it started. This is where it ended on a red bar. So we're at 6.1 cents. We closed the day at 6.3. But hey, here's the good news. We're above the 200. That's the good news. She did take a big drop. She is still above the 200. She went underneath it, shot right back up. This could be a pillar. This could be a pillar going from our 9-day down through the 200 and back up. The next bar will tell me if she comes all the way back up to exactly where she started from. I'm going to be looking for a bounce. So that's it, folks. SBFM. Let me look at so many charts. Let me back up. So we've got recovery here. She is at an all-time low, but we didn't see a whole. Wait a minute. Got to admit, folks, I forget some of the information. We look at some. All right, she's had that big jump in. All right, this stock is probably undervalued, right? She's making strong revenues. We do have a financial coming out. They haven't come out with that yet. Nope. Financial has not come out. It should be coming out. Should be strong. That's the way it looks. The chart has had a big fall, undervalued, flashing for sale sign. She's already accumulated and consolidated. She is now starting her pillar drop to her crouch and pounce. Could be a perfect time for SBFM. Could be. I know, Jerome, we got that close. Please, Jerome, do me a favor. Next week, make a head call, go to the bathroom, break out your phone, pull me up, drop your ticker in there, buddy. I don't want to leave you out. We are over. We just set a record. This is the longest show we have ever had. 1 hour and 36 minutes. And I thank you so much for being here with me, folks. Sorry, should have warned you. Anybody have an epileptic fit there? My bad. I never even took down your gee whiz. This is why I need Taylor. She'd have brought down this comment a long time ago. Who came in while I was jabbering? Roy, there you were. Hello, Roy. Emer, good to see you, Emer. JYD, haven't looked at it since I covered it the other day. LT, you're still here. Thank you. And Keith Lanter, well, you got a bunch of tickers, don't you? SNES, the rat poison, soft bait, in all the Ace Hardware stores, and I think they're now working in foreign countries. Soft bait that looks like little sausages that makes male and female rats stop having babies. So we're not killing rats anymore. We're just stopping them from having babies, which one set of rats can make 1,200 rats in a year. So it may take a little time to diminish it, but they're not stinking up, causing maggots everywhere. And sooner or later, they ain't going to be having any more babies. What else you give me? APCX. Aptex? Was that Aptex? Yeah, I liked Aptex too. Baby F. The milk formula made with no milk for babies, right? Yeah, I like them too. Haven't done any DD on them. Lots of good tickers here, folks. And I appreciate y'all coming in. Jay Pong. No, I did not miss you. I heard you. Jay Pong, you had TANH. I've looked at this. I just can't remember it. Folks, I really love seeing your comments here. Thank you for showing up. Better late than never. I know I didn't get to look at your stocks. But again, I'm going to tell you all, I put up a placeholder around 10, 11, 12 in the morning. You can drop your tickers in then. I will do homework, be able to find more information, run around Twitter, Google, see if I can find more, and then I can share more. But if you come in at 4:05, chances are I've already got all the stocks I can handle. I'm sorry about that. I love you, folks. Thanks for showing up. Taylor should be back with me next week, so things should be a little bit more organized. I hope I shared some good information with you. You brought us some decent stocks this week, folks. Thank you very much for being here. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Maybe a different beard style, huh? You noticed. See you then, folks. Bye-bye.